That voice is still partially gone. We are recording these same day. But last week we did talk about Thanksgiving and mainly the topic was trying to show our gratitude, giving thanks. That was what it was supposed to be about. And we did touch up on the history of Thanksgiving a bit. Or let me rephrase because we had it wrong. We definitely did. But it was the history of Thanksgiving that at least I was taught, in school and growing up, the like nicety.
Like the kumbaya type of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like the Disney's version of Thanksgiving is what you
like
say,
watered
right?
down, yeah.
Because like in a lot of Disney movies and like a lot of Disney stories, it's off of like more morbid stories, like Little Mermaid's pretty morbid and
Cinderella's fucked up.
Hansel and Gretel. If you see the original stories, they're really morbid.
They're not meant for kids,
they're
for sure.
Not at all. So same thing for Thanksgiving. We took it and turned it into a holiday of like a Disney-esque, family-built, like loving, giving thanks. And I mean, we've done the same thing with Christmas. It used to be a pagan holiday.
Yeah.
So. But I wanted to clear the air because, what we touched up on was not the truth of how Thanksgiving came to be, or at least the first Thanksgiving. And I put quotes because, again,
it wasn't called Thanksgiving.
Time of giving thanks at that point. So I had to pull up the article just to make sure I can cross my T's and dot my I's on this. And I kind of had a knowledge of it, but again, I didn't cover it in its entirety, at least to give it the truth of its credit it deserved. And it's a morbid truth. I'm going to be honest with people.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not going to get into like the details of the details. But basically, Thanksgiving, as we know it, and I'll repeat how we covered it last episode, or for what I remember we covered it. It was like a coming of two cultures together. Oh, the Pilgrims met the Indians, like at Cape Cod or like wherever they met, where the Mayflower came in. And it was this like loving embrace of sharing cultures. And that's not how it went down at all. In all honesty, there was no invitation of like sharing cultures. It was more of anything, just a colonization, imperialization of one group over the other. And that was the European settlers colonizing on Native American soils, right? From that, it's not to say that, again, I'm not justifying any means or any of such, because it's a terrible tragedy, really. But as I continue to keep reading this, it just makes it sound even worse. But like there was like a lot of, they did give in the sense of diseases, and like wars, and they did build, in a sense, the Europeans helped certain native tribes. Again, this is off a few articles that I had to pull to make sure
everything was right.
But there was like truces among Native American groups because of European colonizers coming in. I have to make sure I clear that air in that sense. There was a lot of like grave robbing in that sense, land stealing, like enslaving of Native people from European colonizers. Again, and it probably comes from a place of like monarchy, of like, oh, we're better than you, entitlement. And again, I had to put that out there because we did not touch up on this in the right light. Again, it was coming from a place of what my school, or what I've learned from my
schooling, yeah, or like the traditional media,
how people like to shape it out in commercials or like in like you said, medias and entertainment. You see
like what it is today was not what it started as. No, and that's the way with most things, like you said, like Christmas and stuff. But
Disney like adaptations to stories. So I definitely wanted to put that out there, not in the sense of an apology, but in a sense of an apology.
Yeah, like you want people to know what like really happened, but but at the same time, we could still, even if it started out as a morbid thing, but like now it's become a day where we can give thanks. It's still like you can still appreciate what it is today, but recognize what it really was.
There was a time recently where people were taking down monuments and statues of American figures, or they were trying to, like the Lincoln Memorial and everything like that, because of slavery issues. And again, I wasn't in favor of that because, again, there's a history to everything going on with that.
Yeah.
You got to see the light and the dark, right? In this scenario, same thing. Like the light is that, now we have a holiday where we can love our loved ones and whatnot.
What it should have been potentially.
Right. But at the same time, we can't overlook the darkness from where it came from.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a Buddha thing, right? Like the idea of Buddha and enlightenment, at least from how I've learned it and how I've come to know it. And I could be wrong here. And I would love people to correct me if I am. But Buddha didn't see just the light in people. He saw both sides.
Yeah.
And chose to see the whole picture and not negate the dark, not negate the light, but see it as a whole and find the spectrum of color that comes from it of each person.
Like even with like the statue things, like sometimes if the statue doesn't exist, then it makes people less curious because they don't want to like go research who this person was, what did they really do, were they more good or bad, or like what like laws or things did they put into place. Like it takes away that curiosity and it still waters down history. So in the long run, we're just gonna like, no one's gonna really know what happened, right?
That too. And I mean, it's true what they say, history repeats itself. So if we don't see the true history of things, if we don't see the both light and dark of both scenarios, then how can we avoid past mistakes? Like
whether you keep the statues or not, people should at least know like the whole spectrum of what those people represented.
Right.
So at least they can make their own judgment on was this a good person or not.
Right.
But at least now like the whole picture, or at least whatever we can like come up with, right?
100%. Again, that's not coming from a place of like, oh, this person did bad things. Like, look, bring that into the light, please. But at the same time, there were other intentions that they had. It wasn't just this place of darkness. It wasn't just this place of light.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to be pure light or nothing's going to be pure darkness, or we wouldn't have sight.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to see things, and everything was just one or the other.
There's a lot of gray.
A lot of yin yang, of course. So that was just a way to intro things, cover what we missed in our last episode.
Sounds good.
I definitely wanted to make people come to that, know that, we're going to make mistakes on this podcast.
Yeah.
And if we do, we're going to do everything in our power to rectify it if we can.
And please call us out. Like if you say like, you guys said this and this was wrong, like we'll be,
And we'll do better research on what we missed.
Yeah.
Because, again, for this podcast, we do light research, if any, sometimes. It comes from a place of prior knowledge.
Yeah.
And that prior knowledge could have been very
completely wrong.
Misled all the time. So if that's the case, again,
let us know.
Engage us and let us know that mistake. And then that'll give us more incentive to research what we missed.
And that way we can help educate other people, because I'm sure people have the same assumptions that we like made as well.
100%. So in that regard, don't take us too critically at the surface.
Yeah, we're not historians.
From where we not from like deep research. It comes from what we've known prior. What has been come to our awareness.
Yeah,
and then with that being said, when new awareness comes in, now we can make those mistakes. Then do that research to either justify our standpoint or
correct or remedy
our wrongs and re-justify a new standpoint that we have. We want to be malleable and flexible in that sense. I'm not someone, and our group is not a group that is going to be rigid in that, like, no, this is what it really is. No, if we're wrong, and we'll definitely be the first ones to admit it. So that was an intro, but that's not going to be the topic of discussion today.
Sounds good.
So let's jump into our topic, which will be in the realm of entertainment. And we might have done this in a prior episode.
We talked about different media forms,
Yeah, but this one will be in the form of a different perspective. Let's just put it that way. But really, we want to go into video games.
Sounds good. And just how they kind of tie into like the real world or just different aspects of it.
So like what, instead of just the entertainment value video games give you, right? Because a lot of people see it in such a, again, maybe this will be a theme of today's episode, but such a dark realm sometimes of like, oh, it's it's turning our kids' brains into mush. All they do is spend time doing video games, and like what
it's
kind
like
of
a waste
skills
of
do you really
time,
get out of video games? And to that, I can actually argue that argument really well in the fact that it depends on the person playing the game.
And it's kind of crazy because we have games like chess where people are like, oh, if you play chess, you're smart. But then if you play video games, you're dumb and lazy.
Yeah.
But it's weird because chess is like, it's like based off like war or like war pieces, right? And a lot of video games are still like war type games, or like they still have like a battle aspect and like stuff like that.
In a sense, you can see certain video games, a lot of video games, as a chess game in and of itself, just played with a different perspective. How can I? And this might be a stretch, but I like to stretch just to see it. But like, let's go into like a very popular game, like Call of Duty. Everyone could see themselves as a pawn in that regard, right? Everyone's the same character, has the same amount of like accessories that they can customize. What is it? They call them loadouts, right? But everyone's on the same footing. There's no like, oh, this guy's a level 100 and this guy's a level 50. The level 100 is always going to win. No, it's more of a everyone's level 1. No one could get any higher in that regard to the game. It's all skill based.
Yeah.
So if you lose to someone, it's always because of a skill thing. And again, that's not to say that's always the case, because there becomes a thing of issue of like internet connection and all those other but like baseline, like landline, baseline, split screen, whatever.
Everyone has the same opportunity.
Yeah. It comes down to raw skill.
Yeah.
And in some terms, like it turns into luck. But again, that's based off like your skill set.
Yeah. Like another game that was popular a few years ago, like Overwatch. There's like different, and it follows like a popular format, I guess, where there's like healers and there's like people who are supposed to attack and like.
So then that takes it to a new dimensional realm of like, I guess, chess, right?
Yeah.
Or a new level of, because now I can't play this FPS because it's catered to fast twitch.
Yeah.
Reaction timing stuff. How can I then you jump into, like you said, Overwatch, or there's a few other ones like Apex.
Yeah.
Where the classes are built around, and you could be like, oh, I'm a healer. I'm not great at combat, so I'm good at being a support. Oh, I'm not really a good sniper, so I'm really good at being that tank. Oh, I'm not a tank. I'm actually I am an FPS.
And like how we were talking about, like what can people actually learn from video games besides just like the hand-eye coordination or like fast reflex stuff? I think it's just like the way of thinking, right? Like if you're a healer, 100%. Like how am I going to heal my team so that we're at full strength? Or like where do I have to be placed as an attacker? Like how can I sneak up on someone? Get the upper hand on the other team.
How can I be the best healer in this game? Oh, I'm going to avoid being the person front line. Yeah. I'm going to be in the back supporting because that's the best position for a healer.
Like obviously in any game you could just go brute force, or like people say like you could play stealthy or you could be loud and proud. Like you could go the loud and proud way, but I think just like the way, like the strategy, how you think about solving like the issue or attacking the problem, that's like where you're really learning stuff.
Not only that, but it teaches you a lot about yourself. Yeah. Especially like game style wise. Like you said, if you are a healer, what does that say about you in respect? It means that maybe you aren't good at like going one-on-one with someone. Yeah. Maybe you're better in a team-oriented setting where support is necessary.
Or it could even like get like deeper. Like maybe you just like taking care of people, or like you're just like a kind person, or like it just suits your personality in a certain sense.
Yeah, like our other host, Kendall Waffles. He played and this is in the world of Overwatch. It just came out. This is in the world of Overwatch, but he played May before like all these new characters came out. He was a May. Yeah. And she wasn't a super combat type, at least the way I remember.
Yeah, she's a fast one, right? Or is that?
No, she was the
ice. Freezes people.
And he played it really well. But it was interesting because he didn't play it conventionally. So he loved the character. It fitted his game style really well because he adapted it that way. Yeah. So in that sense, like he was like, oh yeah, I could see a potential that no one else sees and he became, I'm not going to say the best, but in our realm of our small community, he was the best main for sure.
Yeah.
For me, I was like a Reinhardt because I was the tanky shield that was just like, I like to be frontline brute force. But then at other times, depending on my team, I would be maybe a Hanzo or maybe I don't remember, or like a Reaper, I think.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played Overwatch. I was never a Tracer though.
I think Charles was Tracer, yeah.
But again, it was just too like quick reaction, and I was never that like.
Yeah, but it makes sense because Charles plays Sonic too, right? So he's used to
I was never that high sensitivity, quick, like boom, boom, like rotation. Like your joystick sensitivity is at the highest, or you like you inch it, or you barely touch the joystick. You do like a 180.
Yeah.
That was never me. I was just like the guy that liked to be like hunkered down.
Yeah, and I think even in games where it's like more like solo play, like a game like Assassin's Creed or something, like how do you do the missions? Or like GTA, like how do you do the missions? Because it's not like the game tells you like you have to do the mission this way. It just says you just have to get this task done, right? You still have like, to like the confines of the game, like unlimited range to do whatever.
Right, in this open world concept.
Yeah.
With like a goal that's somewhat even open world-ish.
Yeah.
You can do it, like you said, stealthy. Or you could just like defeat all of the bad guys.
Yeah.
Or you can do it somewhere in between that. Which realm do you want to do?
And that kind of like plays into like, are you introverted or like are you extroverted? And sometimes people even in games they try to like they try to do things that they're normally not, I guess, in a way. Like try to be a personality that they're not, just to see what it's like. Yeah.
Well, like again. You and I, it's funny that we're doing this topic because I think you and I have been playing video games a lot less than a lot of friends in our circle. But
we still have like an appreciation for them.
Yeah, and we'll play them if they come up, but we don't do it in our free time.
Yeah.
Again, unless it's like within that group setting of hanging out with friends. Yeah. What game was it? It was Monster Hunter, right?
Okay.
Like Kendall and...
This is for the Switch, I think, right? Yeah.
Kendall is a female character.
Yeah.
And in that realm where you get to choose your character, he chooses female for whatever reason.
Yeah. Just wait.
What does that say about him? It doesn't necessarily mean he wants to be a female.
Yeah.
But there's like some aspect of him that wants to.
That's more feminine. Yeah.
Maybe, and he's admitted this time and time again, so I feel confident in saying he says he's like very feminine as a male. He's a very feminine man.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's why, or maybe he just likes to see females on his screen more than guys.
Yeah.
It's up to the person's perspective. It's just once you start to step out of that like first person view and see yourself outside, like see his perspective outside of that, where you're almost like the observer of yourself.
Yeah.
And you go, why did I choose that character? Like for me, I always choose guys, but I always build my character to be as close to me as possible. Like I knew that about me.
Yeah.
Like which character is most resemblant of me. And there's never one that I'm like, that's exactly me. But
it gets as close as possible.
This one's going to be the one that's more me than the rest. Yeah. Same in like Smash. Like it was always Cloud. But that's because I saw myself as more of a Cloud type person. I wasn't like a Samus where I had this super suit.
Yeah.
I wasn't like Sonic because I was super fast. It just happened to be Cloud.
And then
or Link.
Yeah.
Right? Those were the two I always played.
The swords, yeah. Like growing up, I used to play a lot of Pokemon. And when I played back then, I would play it like how like parents would say like, oh, you're just like sitting there and playing the game or whatever. But once like Pokemon Go came out and like my friend kind of talked to me about how like there's so much that goes behind Pokemon. Like whenever you're battling someone, which Pokemon you use to get certain XP to develop certain stats for that Pokemon. Like I didn't even know like that whole realm existed.
There's a whole like algorithm within just the funness of playing it. So like you can play it at this competitive, crazy like micromanaging level.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you can play it at the like childish fun, like want to beat the game, collect the gym badges, capture as many Pokemon, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's so many ways to go about it.
I know in the intro we were talking about like the Thanksgiving thing, but if like parents were just able to see like the whole spectrum, like yes, you could just play for fun. It could be like I had a hard day at work or school, and this is just a way for me to like let steam off. Right. Or it could be like yo, this is like super interesting. I really want to like master the algorithm, or I really want to build the best team, and like how would I go about it type deal.
Right. At least if I had kids, right? And this is like a big in that regard. I would be that dad who would be like, oh, like, what Pokemon did you capture? Like, what's your team?
Yeah.
Like, I'd ask those questions because then I'd get to learn about my kid. Oh, why did you pick the fire starter over the water and grass? Oh, it looked better. Oh, I like the colors. Whatever it might be. Now I'm learning about my kid through an entertainment of his.
Yeah.
So in that way, he can build that, like, it builds a relationship where it's like, oh, it's okay to play video games. It's not looked down upon. And at the same time, he might not know, or he might know, or she, again, if I have a daughter too. Oh, now I'm learning that he likes fire types because he likes the color red. Oh, he likes the fire types because it had a cooler design. Yeah. It was a monkey. Now I'm learning. I had a friend who had a dad like that. And even my dad was kind of like that, which was really cool. I was growing up and he was he gamed. He had a very specific genre, which was like war type realistic.
Okay.
Again, this is back in the day where PS2 was the console of the time. Yeah. Like it was Xbox, PS2, and GameCube. Wii never existed yet. So this is like prior to 2008. I would love watching him play. I was learning how he played the game, and it was an interesting thing to learn about. Like, oh, he doesn't like the Halo types where you can destroy a tank by shooting it enough times.
Yeah.
He liked the types where it's like, oh no, this is a tank. You need something to destroy a tank. Like an actual like RPG.
Yeah.
Not and it was like realistic in the sense of like, oh, you only have one ammo. You don't have like 20 rockets in your pocket. You have one, maybe a spare, So if you miss your first shot, the mission's over, So I always loved that. And there was always like he understood that realm of video games because like, if you had parents who didn't, because my mom really didn't, it would be that thing where I got to save first. My dad would be like, okay, I'm going to give you like enough time to save. And if you don't, that's on you now.
Yeah.
Because I gave you that extra 15 minutes just to hit the save button. If you play after that,
that's you.
Yeah. And you forget to save, that's on you. So I was like, I feel like our generation's a lot of them are gonna be at least appreciative in that respect.
Yeah, I mean,
and not see video games as this like terrible nature thing.
And then now with like, this is like totally different, but like with the ability to make money off of gaming and stuff, it's not just like anything you do now that you get good at, you can make it a monetary thing. So it doesn't have to be like a time waster per se or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of people say. It's like, find something you're good at
and just
that you love and that you can be the best at in your own regard. And it'll make money for you if you get that good or if you want it to. Right? Now, some people don't because then the money takes over that love.
Love, like, it's not your safe place or
Right. So it's like, do you want to? It's like, yes, okay. Well, here's what might happen if you do.
Yeah, and like with anything, you can't just sit there and game for 10 hours. Like you still got to go outside, get like the right nutrients.
Find a healthy balance.
Yeah.
Because like I'll watch like some streamers who do that. Like I don't watch full streams, but I know streamers who are like
just sit there.
Like, oh yeah, I only leave to go get groceries. I'm inside and like they're pale and they look somewhat unhealthy. Because their life is 14 hours on game. I'm like,
that's not healthy. Yeah.
There's a respect there, but at the same time, like, man, I really hope that you would go out and meet people and hang out.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you live your life. I'm not going to tell you how to run your life or you're doing it wrong. If that's how you think you're doing it right, amazing.
Yeah.
I hope you don't suffer from it.
Yeah. Another game that's like super interesting to kind of analyze is like Sims, because it's like a replication of like life. So it's like, if you could have things your way, how would you kind of like do it?
How would you build your house? This and that. What job would you? Yeah, I used to play Sims at a very young age, and I never thought about it like that.
I think most people.
Because there was no objective to Sims. It was just like make the money. There was a game over, and that was like if you hit bust and lose your house and everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. I never saw it that way. I was never interested in like simulation life games because I was like, if I could do it, like if it's trying to simulate life, why shouldn't I just do it in life?
Yeah.
What was interesting is like leveling system RPG games.
Okay.
we touched this literally right before we got into this. I want to cover it because it was interesting how I brought it up. But like in a lot of those games, you build up experience and you level up and level up and level up, right? And like as you let's say Final Fantasy like 7, for example, right? For me specifically, I just think of the Game Boy versions because that was the one I had access to.
Okay.
But yeah, you had characters, and you'd take them into battle. And you'd battle, let's say, like a slime, and it'd give you 15 experience, right? Oh, now you leveled up. So now you can take on that slime. And games did it differently, where like you got a constant 15.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And some like adjusted based on how you get stronger.
Some would be like, oh, now since you're like at level 1, it was a harder monster, so you did get 15. But now you're level 7, so now you're only going to get 2 experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, interesting. Like that's how kind of life works in a sense, too. If you see something that's familiar all the time, right, and you could bring it into the realm of conversation, communication, education, learning, right? If you're learning about the same thing, if all you do in your life is addition, in mathematics, right, you get really good at mathematics. Your experience in the world of mathematics will get easy to whatever. Oh, I can only add single digits. Okay, and I can do that easily to the point where you hit a level cap. You can't level up anymore because there are only 10 single digits. 0 to 9. There's only 10 single digits that you can add. Oh, I have it mastered where I don't have to think about it. 9 plus 9, 18. Boom. 0 plus 0 is 0. Anywhere in that realm, I can come it up. It comes off in a flash. All right, what about double digits? Now you're like prestiging in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So in that world of prestige, now it's like, okay, double digits. Can you do 100 plus 100? Or can you do 99 plus 99? And any realm in between. Oh, I get caught off on these numbers.
You
now
work
you're
on it.
Up again. Again, same thing in the video game world, right? You fight different monsters. You get different forms of experience for it. You level up skills, and then you level up, like, you get new equipment. You equip your characters, and as it progresses, as the story itself progresses, your character progresses with that story.
Yeah.
So now you're fighting on bigger bosses.
Monsters, yeah. So challenges get more difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Keeps it entertaining the whole way through. Because if it was easy the whole way,
it wouldn't be fun.
You would stop playing. That takes straight into life. In that respect. If life got way too easy, no one would want to play it anymore. Everyone would be like logging off.
And I think even games that are extra challenging, it's like, are you going to quit or are you going to keep going? Right. And that translates to life. Like if something gets hard, are you just going to throw in the towel or are you going to just keep going until you get it?
Yeah. And there's so many trains of thought too. Is it worth my time and effort
to do this
for that challenge? Is it worth my, my frustrations to get past that obstacle of life, of that one thing in life? Or that one level in the video game, right? Because there's always degrees of difficulty in video games. And it's like, oh. And I've done that, where I've gotten to a point in a video game and I was like, it's too hard. I'm stopping. And I never finished the game because it was too hard for me.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and my dexterity got better and my hand-eye coordination got better, I went, maybe I can revisit it and beat it now. And I did, So the same thing, it's not something you put down forever. You can always go back to it if you want.
Pick it up.
It's just how much do you want to do it? Oh, is it worth my time to go back and revisit that video game? Maybe I got to prove it to myself, Or, you know what? No, I played a harder game than this one, so I know I can beat it. I don't even have to play it anymore, And that was some beauties in even Zelda, where there was no level system. You would just collect it was like a puzzle game in the sense of a journey, right? Oh, I need to get this item. So I can't even progress until I get this thing. Yeah. So I have to beat the first dungeon, the first puzzle that's easy difficulty. All right, I got the item I need for that. Now I can progress to dungeon number 2. Oh, are you getting bored and tired of dungeon number 2? Well, there's a bunch of side quests that keep you occupied to either get your character to be stronger or have be able to carry more rupees in the world of Zelda, or at the same time it's a fun quest that I could do because this one has been frustrating me so much. I just need to take a step aside and do something fun for a second. Again, that translates to life, right? For me, I've been working on a couple projects, and I take a lot of breaks because it does get frustrating, or I hit a lot of roadblocks, or like writer's block, or drawing, like artist block. So I'm like, okay, how can I not put it down permanently, but put it aside for a bit so I can like reawaken that love for it? You know, instead of drawing every day, I'm gonna write.
Yeah.
You know, see how well I can describe things for people just through words.
Yeah.
Because if I can picture it enough to where I can write it, and now you can imagine what I'm writing, maybe I can get to that level of drawing it out a little better. You know, I can get the details in my head a lot better.
Yeah.
I feel like, at least in the realm of imagination for artistry like that, it becomes difficult of like, how do I want the waves to crash if I'm drawing this beach? How do I want this character to pose if I am drawing him as a superhero? You know?
And sometimes even like let's say you're like an athlete, you're trying to play a sport, and there's like a video game version of it. It might be helpful for you to see like, how do pros, like what moves do they have, or like just seeing more, like watching more of the game, even if it's not like real life. It's just like you're able to say, okay, maybe next game I'll try this, or like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to like move for defense or something like that.
Right. Oh, pick and rolls.
Yeah.
And then you also learn, because again, I played FIFA a lot because I loved soccer. I was like, oh wow, this is the easiest way to score. I'm like, I wonder if that translates in real life.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, it did. It does. Yeah. Not to that level.
Easiness. Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, oh wow, passing the ball was a lot easier than dribbling through a whole team.
Yeah.
You know, crossing the ball in was more successful than going straight down the middle against this wall of defenders.
Yeah, and even like for like the basketball stuff, like when you have to control like the release point for your player to shoot and stuff. It's like in real life, like you have a certain point where you should shoot, and like you jump too late, you jump too early, or like
the fluidity is off. So if the fluidity is off, then the ball's not going to come off. Like I said, a lot of basketball players, they'll shoot and hold their form, and because they know, like, oh, that was beautiful form, I'm holding it because it's going in, kind of thing. Or people walk away because, like, oh, that one's going in for sure, I don't even have to look.
Yeah.
Same thing in like video games, right? Like you just said, I don't play NBA too much. I do remember that being like part of the thing.
Yeah, there's like a meter and like
or like now they incorporate it in the controllers through like rumble packs, vibrations, where it's like, okay, boom. Right where the rumble ends, right where that flow feels perfect, I let go and it's gonna go in. You know, same in like baseball. You'll again with the rumble systems, you hit the ball and the controller rumbles just right. You're like, that was the sweet spot, or that was like the pitch to hit. You know, so it's really interesting how like that translates. You know.
Yeah, I think it's weird how video games get taken as a completely different form of media, but we learn so much from like books, movies, like pictures, like videos. Like, why wouldn't you be able to learn stuff from video games is like how I look at it.
Right. And then again, you could take it into another way of looking at it. Like, why do you play the specific genres of video games do you play?
Yeah.
Like, I was like a huge RPG guy because I loved the leveling up system. I felt the growth was visible, you know, the level, starting off as a level 1, fighting all these level 1 creatures. And it's a slow start. Again, like life, it's very slow start. But once
you got to grind your way up,
then it's like, okay, now there's more range. Now I'm a level 40 and I could try and take on level 50s if I want. At the same time, level 30s. And there's a bigger spectrum of things. In level 1, or like at the beginning, you didn't have that much range ability.
Yeah, you can do as many things. Yeah.
You had to stay within the realm of 1 to 2s.
Yeah.
Now you're level 70. Now you could try and take on the level 100 boss.
Yeah.
Or you could still stay in the realm of 50 and still get decent experience, you know?
And we also have like a couple of friends who are super into like racing games and stuff like that. Yeah. And like it might even like help you identify like a hobby or even like a career path, right? Like, oh, I really love cars. I want to work in this area. Like I want to be an engineer or like certain things like that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, look at this. Especially the ones that bring in real cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, dude, this Ford Mustang actually has really good maneuverability.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's how it is in real life.
Or like games that like really incorporate the physics and you have to like actually understand it.
Oh yeah, I love those. Like the fake. I like the fake ones just because the exaggeration.
Yeah. Like Mario Kart or something. Like
Yeah. Again, it's really an introspection of who the gamer is, right? Because then I go into the realm of like physics, right? Like, oh, this is interesting. Imagine if this was the physics of life.
Yeah.
Oh, this car can kind of like have more swivel in the air. What if that was a real concept?
Yeah. Or like, oh, on turns I have to be tighter or else I'm going to spin out or something like that. Yeah.
And so again, now you can turn that into adaptability, right? Imagine if like we get to that level of VR where we can like Ready Player One, jump into this world, virtual. Yeah. This virtual world that like is, what is it? That escapes our body. Oh, now I have to adapt to its physics because it's not going to be the same
as real life,
unless you build it that way, unless that system is built that way.
And then it's also cool, like in recent years, people have kind of shifted to like PC gaming has become more popular, right? And like because of that, more people are learning how to build a PC. They're learning about like what parts go into the PC or and it's just like, we say like if without video games, there would be no reason for these people to learn these things in a sense.
Right.
So they're like expanding their knowledge because of like the video game.
Oh yeah. And then like people like, again, you find your niche in people with that same hobby and interest.
Yeah.
Why do you think I need better RAM than what the one I was thinking of getting? Oh, well, if you want a game in the realm of Overwatch and also League of Legends, that takes a lot of short-term memory to process. So you need a better RAM.
Yeah.
Oh, you want a better graphics card because the graphics, again, and it could be for any spectrum of reasons. Oh, for your reason, if you want to be a competitive gamer, you want to be able to see clearly that that's an enemy, not a tree.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to play Breath of the Wild, you're going to want to see the beautiful sceneries. I know you as a gamer.
Yeah.
You're that aesthetically pleasing gamer.
Or like you got to get this mouse because it has like a faster reaction time. You're not going to have a delay in when your like character moves and stuff.
Okay, well, actually, I can't afford that. So in my affordability, what's the best option to get the best PC in suit of me? You know what I mean? And then again, like I said, it becomes like this community niche you can create based on, again, things that as I was growing up, people thought were negative. It's teaching kids lessons about everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I like to play video games because of the campaign story it tells. Oh, I like to play this game because it makes me, I have to worry about every character in the game. If one of them dies, I can't use that character ever again. And
then like, even if it doesn't teach people things, right? What's wrong with just having something that just helps you free up your mind? Like if you're having like a hard day, right? Like you should be able to just game or like go take a walk. It's like someone taking a walk in the park. Maybe they just immerse themselves in the game for a couple hours and it clears their mind. Like,
or reading like a good like fiction novel. Yeah. I just want to escape this realm of like, I'm going through a hard time or my mind's not in a good place or like, for whatever, any reason whatsoever. Yeah. As long as it makes sense for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I just need to escape reality for a minute. So I'm going to play. What's that game on the Switch? Farming game.
A farming game.
Animal Crossing. I just want to play Animal Crossing. Literally no objective, but I get to hang out and I get to do in a realm some mundane stuff and have a good time with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of the mundaneness of my world. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Again, that's not everybody's reason. I would just pick a random one out of my ass.
And it's like you can't say it's like wasting time or you're not getting anything out of it because maybe that gives them clarity for whatever issue they were facing before they started playing, right? And now they're more effective in like the rest of their day or the rest of their week.
Yeah, it could be just therapeutic.
Yeah.
Oh, don't bother me right now. I'm gonna take 30 minutes to play a video game. Why? I just don't want to talk about it yet. I'm not ready to go into the details of it, so I'm going to play video games to forget a bit, and when I'm ready to discuss it, if I'm ready to discuss it, I'll discuss it.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah.
And then, like, I just thought about this because you said, like, Animal Crossing, like, games like Minecraft where you're able, or, like, Roblox, you're able to build stuff, and, like, it just helps people think about different things. Like, it is tied into, like, more engineering-based stuff, but, like, even, like, Minecraft, like, some hunter, like, gatherer, like, like, digging for, like, diamonds and stuff like that. It's like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, again... And you can make games within games, right?
Yeah.
Like in Pokemon, you can go to competitive. Some people have actually set rules for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, the Nuzlocke challenge. Oh, if this Pokemon dies, it dies forever.
Yeah. You have to
it's
release
not a fate, it's dead.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So now you gotta nickname them because they're pets in a sense. So, and you know, people can they do it for whatever reasons. I want to challenge myself. You know, it again shows people who they are.
Yeah, or like people who do like time trials, or like, you know, I'm trying to go through this as fast as possible, like the most efficient way. Don't waste any time.
Efficiency, exactly. Like, oh, why do you like to speedrun? Oh, you know, I wanted to get to some realm of video gaming that made me feel like I had to be great at it. You know, in my own regard. How can I be better at this video game that I love so much?
Yeah.
Without it getting boring. Oh, I'll speedrun it. You know, I'll get better at Smash. You know, again, there's so many ways you could take this.
Yeah, and even with games like COD, because it could be like team player stuff. You'll just hear people saying like, "Oh, there's someone like at this angle" and stuff like that. Like they're so intuitive about like where people are located and like communicating with their team members, and like as we talked about earlier, like communication is like really big in life. So just being able to communicate in a video game should like overall like help you translate in the real life as well.
Speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother plays Apex a lot, and I don't ask him about it too much. Just whenever it comes up in conversation, but he plays it. And he plays with his friends a lot. Or I've noticed that about him, that he prefers to play with friends more than he plays by himself, and he'll play both.
Yeah.
If he has the opportunity
to play with friends. Yeah.
And he has a friend who plays it too, but I don't know if he thinks he's bad at the game or whatever the case may be. He just doesn't like to play with people because he doesn't want to hold them back. My brother doesn't care. He does that with me too. When we were during like the heart of the pandemic, when I first moved back, I had my PlayStation and I had Warzone, and I would ask him. You know, at this time we didn't have rooms literally next to each other. Mine was downstairs and his was upstairs. And I'm like, "Are you gonna hop on?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm like 30." Okay, well, let's play a few games together. And again, he was way better at this than me. But he just, I think, and again, this is just a speculation, he just wanted people to play with that he enjoyed playing. You know, it wasn't a thing of like, I want to be great. Like he does. Yeah. That shows his skill. But he preferred to play with
people than not, Yeah,
and I enjoyed that because, again, that was my thing. Like, I really don't care. And I told him, like, dude, I really suck at this game. He was like, it's okay. Like, we'll have fun. We'll have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I appreciate that. You know, it makes me want to play more with you because it's not a thing of like, why the fuck do you suck?
Yeah, and then
like, it was like, oh, we'll get a win. Don't worry, we got this.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or I'll tell him, dude. I'll be like, oh, dude, I did terrible this game, and he was like, oh, it's cool, dude. Don't worry about it.
And then that same thing can get like again translated into like life. If you have someone like start at a new company and you're like the manager, like you have the experience, you know more of it, but you want to bring them along and like give them that reassurance, so that way one day they can like be in that same position at the same level.
Yeah, and then I had to wonder this a couple times too. I was like, I wonder if it makes him want to play better to compensate for my lack of skill.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, but like he's like, all right, if he's like not doing well, how can I got to step up my game.
Yeah.
Which makes me a better player. I get to play with someone I like. And at the same time, if he does bad, like it doesn't matter because I did good enough for the both of us.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes this like cool like thing where, again, these are all speculations, but if any of it was
true,
an inkling of truth, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And even if it wasn't, the fact that he still wants to play with me as bad as I was, always put a smile on my face, you know?
Yeah, I think just like with most things in life, there's no like, it's not completely bad or completely good. Yeah. So like, you got to look at like, again, like if someone's spending 14 hours playing video games, yes, that's bad. In the sense of like, they got to make sure they're taking care of themselves, meeting people, you know, going outside, doing that stuff. But if they're playing for a couple hours, like every day or like throughout the week, it's like, you know, you don't know what they're getting out of that. It could be a detox 100%. Or they could be really learning something about themselves.
And the lifestyles of it, right? Because again, some people can play for 14 hours straight, but they only do it for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the 4 days, they take a hard break.
Yeah.
You know, amazing. Or they work on other hobbies that they like. You know, that's always cool.
Yeah.
You know?
I think when, like, at least like from parents, like when you don't understand something, you're like the first to kind of like,
you have an immediate first impression on an unknown, and it's always a negative first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's weird though, because like when the Wii came out, like even parents would be doing like the bowling or like the Kinect, they'd be moving around. And like now with like some of the VR stuff, even parents like, it's still like a good workout in a sense. So, there's not like complete downside to any one thing. So
right.
And it definitely, as you said before, like our generation is going to be able to see both sides, and we're going to be able to know like.
I mean, we have so many examples. I've seen streamers who've loved video games, and you can use these as examples for kids growing up now. It doesn't have to be your child. It could just be people you like who are, like I said, I could just say this to my nephews when they're old enough to understand. If they want to get into that realm of like, I want to be a gamer for a living. Okay, well, here are the consequences of it. If you haven't seen them yet,
yeah,
are you prepared for those consequences that may occur? Like I said, there's people who are like, I love gaming so much, I turned it into a living, and now they get to that realm where like, ugh.
Now you don't like it.
Yeah, now it's hard to play because I make most of my money playing Pokemon.
Yeah,
and I don't want to play Pokemon anymore.
Or it's like stressful, like, oh, if I don't upload, then I can't make money. Like, I just want days off.
Right. I have to put out quality. Yeah. Or like, even in that realm of perfectionism too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my videos have always been so quality. If I put in this one sub-quality video that I put a little less effort in, will people notice? And in turn, like, will I get less revenue from it?
Yeah. Or like, oh, the trend right now is everyone's playing this game, but I kind of want to play this game, but I can't because if I want to make money, there's like.
So it's like, you got to understand the payoffs of each side.
Yeah.
I have coworkers who are streamers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, and I don't get into the details of it because like, I don't have the time to get into those conversations sometimes. And I want to, because I always want to know about people I like, people I hang out with and I consider friends. But, yeah, I'll be like, he's like, yeah, I stream when I can. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, you play like the games that he's like, no, I just stream when I want to stream, and if it makes me money, it makes me money. I'm like, boom.
That's
so
cool.
You have a job that you're working already because he works at the bar with me.
Yeah.
At the same time, you have this thing that could be a potential money maker because you can build your personality and have people fall in love with that. Instead of it being the video game you're playing, it's, I like watching this guy's content.
Yeah. Or if someone's just like funny, you make people laugh, brighten their day up.
Yeah. Like I always thought that we'd be a good group for video gaming because we had like all spectrums of it. We have a competitive, really good gamer. We have a handful of those. We have a handful of clueless people like you and me sometimes, depending on the game. And then we have like the wild cards like Kendall, who is just like, he could be great at the game. And at the same time, he could be a flop.
Yeah, he could be great at the game, but he could also just be saying some wild stuff, and he's just funny. Yeah.
At the same time, he brings out such animationness out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I always found that, I was like, dude, if people watch us play Smash, because, I mean, you were there, even the people sitting out would be belly aching laughing.
Yeah.
Because we would just be dying, because we had so many different characters. We had the one guy that everyone was going after. Because he was
the best,
he was the best. He's a ranked. He's still ranked, I think, but he's like competitively ranked in his community.
Yeah,
as a gamer in Smash. And then we had the trolls, like our friend who's in Georgia, Addison.
Yeah.
He was just. I don't know if he's still there. Actually, I don't know where he's at in the country, but I hope he's doing good. But he would play the troll character, Donkey Kong carrying you off to the side,
or like Bowser,
or freaking King Dedede, with that power hammer thing. Like he just had the troll characters, and then you had me that was just like me and you who were just like we're just trying to play the game.
Yeah.
And then Kendall again, same thing, who would just be so animated and pick just whatever character. And
like he'd get super close to winning and he'd lose and he'd like throw the controller like.
Like we had it all.
Yeah.
I still think like that could be a possibility if we want to go through with that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like
setting schedules.
we're in such an area of like development in terms of like our skill set where we're at. We're in that literal age of ours where we're starting to find our way, and we just need to focus on that just a little longer before we can decide if we want to go these realms, even if for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We could do it, but at the same time, I want to give people. Especially our group, because you're working on projects.
Yeah.
He's working on school and projects, and I have this big project I'm trying to like get on ground zero at least. So once those like become more like set in stone, then we can start branching out and doing those other entertainment things that again doesn't have to be for like monetary value.
Yeah.
Like
it's just something fun to do.
Yeah.
Just hang out with the friends. Might as well, like, if you're already gonna hang out and play video games, you might as well make like content out of it or something like.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I guess that's a good way to
tie it up. Yeah. So on that note, man, video games can teach you. I mean, all kinds of media, but today we went to the realm of video games. Again, just keep building that experience. If you think you're in an RPG world or whatever world you think you're in now, like try and fit it into a video game essence that you think most replicates.
Yeah.
And just try and be that character you want to be.
And then also, like, just ask yourself some of those questions, like you said earlier. Why did I pick this character? Why did I do it this way? And then just try to think, like, okay, like, what does this tell me about myself?
Yeah, you know? That self-discovery you're going to keep. You'll learn a lot about yourself doing that.
Yeah.
And a lot of things you don't like, a lot of things you do like. Just a lot of self-discovery through doing that. But, do that on your own time.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. Don't make it like
a chore, yeah.
Yeah, enjoy it. But yeah, on that note, with the video games, it's your boy Maui.
And it's Bambi.
And this is
Couch Surfing.
Peace.
Peace.